Hi everyone. Okay, join me for a badass workout. Let's start moving our body right away. Let's do some knee hugs. If you need to hold on to something for stability, like a wall or something like that, that's totally fine. Do whatever you need to do to honor your body for stability. With these knee hugs, you're just pulling that knee up while you're feeling the balance on one leg. Switch sides. Again, if you need to hold on to something, find something. Get next to a wall, a chair, anything to help with your stability. You can do these hugs with two hands or with one. Either way, if you're holding onto something for stability, one hand is just fine as well. Feel that you are balancing. Feel that stabilizing leg while you're hugging the one leg. Feel how much work that stabilizing leg is actually doing, and notice difference between sides. Don't fight with that difference. We all have differences between sides, but just notice that. Next one, let's do kickers here. Whether your foot is bent and flexed or pointed, doesn't matter. Either one, doesn't matter. Here's the thing about exercise. There's not just one way to do things. The body loves variation, so vary things up. You don't have to do everything the same way every time. And it's not about doing that right or wrong. There might be more ideal and less ideal, but we're just getting blood flowing. We're just getting moving here. So these are your kickers. All right, just getting things moving. Next thing, let's open up our hips. Now this one, you really might need to hold on to something for stability. What we're doing is putting that hip through full range of motion. I think about leading with the knee and making sort of like a little bit of an arc or a circle. We can open outwards, and then we can come from sort of like the back and open inwards. So we're just getting that hip joint moving. We're waking it up. We're getting things alive because your inner badass is within you, dying to be unleashed. How's that for dramatic? So just go in, out. You can do one way, one the other way, multiples one way, multiples the other way. It really doesn't matter. Again, there's no one way to do things. You guys probably heard my knee crack. Things pop and crack. Even interestingly enough, this hip, there's kind of like a little bit of an adjustment type thing going on in that hip. If anything hurts, obviously see your doctor or see a physical therapist. But this does not hurt me. I can feel it, and I just know that that's how it is. I do see a physical therapist regularly, and he checks things. In my opinion, physical therapists are phenomenal. He keeps me doing the things that I love to do. I've had a few over the years. They've all been phenomenal. I freaking love physical therapy. It has changed my life. Okay, now I want to move our back and our chest. I'm coming sideways so you can see what I'm doing. You can interlace the fingers or not, either way. And what we're doing is we're kind of hollowing out and rounding out the back. Let your head drop with you. And you can exhale here, and then you can inhale, open up, and extend the spine and look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, open up and look up. I'm gonna come facing the other, sort of this other angle. Exhale, inhale. What we want to do is the spine is made to move, okay? So we want to go through the different ranges where, in my opinion, where we get into trouble is where we're spending too much time in one position or the other. I used to live here. So the spine we want it to be able to move, and we want those ribs to be able to move and all the muscles to be able to move. Let's come to this extended position and let's reach our neck up and over. So we feel like the neck is elongating. I'm not like smashed down here trying to do this, okay? So feel like your neck is elongating, reach up and over while I'm holding that sort of extended position. Slowly with the neck. Do things real slowly with the neck. I find that feels best. And now you're gonna hold that rounded position, sort of like the cat-cow position. And from here, just kind of give some side, almost like a side bend to the left and to the right. I'm gonna move around with things so you can see different angles. Oh, just got a little adjustment like right here. That was cool. And I can feel like my low back muscles stretching. Oh man, whoo, this one feels good. Do this as long as you need to. I'm gonna stop here, I think. If you need longer, by all means, pause and take longer. And these are things you can do in bits and pieces all throughout the day. Moving your body, get up out of that seated position and move your body. Just do one of these things. Even if you do it for 15 seconds, it all counts. It's all movement and honoring your body. Okay, here is our first thing that we're gonna do. I have a few bands on the floor next to me. We're gonna come down to the ground and we're gonna do clams. So clams are gonna wake up our glutes. You can do it with a band, and if you have mini band, these are extremely inexpensive. I would highly recommend getting a pack of them. There's so many things you can do with them. You can stick this above the knee. You can stick this at different locations. You don't need it, but it will give you more resistance. So if you have these and you want to add it, cool. Otherwise, I'm going to give you a couple different angles for these clams. And again, remember, there's not one way to do things. Legs can be in different positions. For now, let's come all the way down to a lying position. I'm gonna lay on my folded arm and keeping those hips stacked, open and close the knees without rolling back onto the hips. So let me come this way to you. Stay on one side. I accidentally changed sides. Open and close without rolling back, because that is not activating the glutes. Keep those hips stacked, one on top of the other. Open and close the knees and feel that movement in the hips, which we warmed up a little bit with those hip openers, feel that is your glutes working to open up that hip, okay? Let's pick a number. I'm gonna keep talking and not counting. But let's pick a number anywhere, whatever number serves you today. Maybe anything between 8 and 15 per side. But really focus on that movement. Feel that muscle working that we want to work. Feel it working, concentrate on that. You get much more out of your workouts when you're thinking about the muscle that's working versus thinking about, some task that you need to do at work or something like that. When you're focusing on the muscle that's working, you get a lot more movement out of it. Now let's switch to the other side. Now if we come on this side, let me come at this angle. Again, you can be here if you want to as well. I'm gonna choose to be all the way down on the ground, resting my head on this bent arm. I'm going to keep these hips stacked while I am opening and closing for these clams or clamshells or with a mini band. There's variations in positions. We can put the legs in. This can be straight. There's all kinds of ways to vary things, and you can certainly Google search, social media search variations on this. There is not one way to do things. So that's either side band clams. Now we are gonna do some cat and cow down here. It's very similar to the standing warm-up that we did when we were opening up our back. With cat and cow, we are I'm gonna come sideways here. What we're doing is wrists are beneath the shoulders, press into that ground, knees are beneath the hips, and we are exhaling as we're rounding our back and dropping our head down. Exhale. That's cat. Inhale, drop your chest between your shoulders. Notice my elbows are still straight. I'm inhaling, looking up, and letting basically your back sway. This is cow. You know, you see the cows and they're kind of sway back. Then we're exhaling again. Inhale, the elbows stay straight. I'm not inhaling here. Elbows stay straight, look up. I'm gonna give you a different angle from here. Exhale. Inhale, look up. One more angle. Exhale. Inhale, look up. There is a reverse way to do this as well, and the reverse cat-cow, ooh, is so yummy. I'm gonna leave that out for now. Now we're gonna come up. I am purposely making you come up and down. That is part of the work. You can always rearrange the order of things, but coming up and down from the ground is something I like to do with my clients because that is a skill that we should all maintain, in my opinion, as we go through life. You want to be able to get up and down from the ground. Now, I want to put some badass applications onto these things. I want you guys to visualize. I love to relate things to self-defense. So I'm going to call these tactical squats. Tony Blauer talks a lot about this. He's fantastic in self-defense. This is basically like a staggered stance squat. Staggered meaning one foot is in front, one foot is in the back, and we are, with that back foot, we are on the ball of that back foot. I'm keeping my socks on because I'm a little chilly right now. So we're on the ball of that back foot. This is also fighting stance for those of you that are fighters among us. So start channeling your inner fighter. So staggered stance, one foot is planted, one foot is on the ball of the foot. Hands are up. This is a deterrent for if you are, heaven forbid, ever attacked. Hands up presents a deterrent to the bad guy and can start helping to protect you. From here, I'm just gonna go into a squat. So drop down. When we did the clams, we started warming up those glutes. So drop straight down, feel the glute of that front planted leg working a lot. That front planted leg should be working a little bit more than the back leg. These are your tactical squats. As you drop down, keep contact with that big toe. Keep your foot in contact with the ground. That is very important for making all of your muscles in your leg work. Drop straight down, push the ground away with that foot. Feel that glute working. Feel when you push that foot into the ground, it sends contractions of the muscles going all the way up. Switch your stance. Now the other foot is in front. That means the foot that's in the back, we're on the ball of it, right? Remember, if you can, if that's not serving you today, then you can have the back foot flat. Remember, there's all kinds of variations. And how wide do you go? How narrow do you go? Just pick a stance. Don't overthink it. You're moving your body. You're thinking about, if I had to protect myself and say someone is coming at me, I can squat down and try to help keep myself safe. I can do that. My body can do that. You are strong. You are much stronger than sometimes your mind might lead you to believe. Feel that big toe in contact with the ground. Drop down, push that ground away. Feel how strong your legs are. Legs, there's lots of big muscles there. You are very strong. You are powerful. Feel that. Recognize that. Never, ever forget that. These are our tactical squats. When you're doing this on your own, I would recommend counting and doing the same amount on either leg. Is that an all or nothing? Like, does that always have to be? If you mess up and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if that was 12 or 13, is it a big deal? No, it's not a big deal. Give yourself grace. Sometimes when I'm doing my workout, I forget how many I did on one side versus the other. We're gonna come down into a tactical plank. We're gonna add some visualization here. Planks are hard, you guys. Planks are how When we think about good posture, it's kind of how we want to stand in life a lot of the time, not all the time. Remember, our body's fluid, it's movement, things move. However, we tend to want the shoulders back. We want that pelvis lined up underneath us. I'm gonna get a tiny bit closer. Here's where I used to live in life, here. It hurts my back just to go back into that. You can see it stretches out my abs. It crunches up my back muscle. That's a technical term, by the way. It takes my pelvis where it's not directly underneath my spine anymore, and that is not a powerful position. You are a strong warrior. When you are powerful, think of how you stand. If you are standing tall, your chest is open, your pelvis is underneath you, supporting you. All of that is happening in a plank. It's part of why planks are so hard. What this plank looks like on the ground, I'm gonna come sideways to you. I also like to spread the fingers. That gives more contact with the ground. What this looks like on the ground is coming up onto the balls of your feet, tucking that pelvis, lining up that back, pushing a bit into the ground, squeezing the glutes and making all of that tense up. That can be pretty intense. You can raise the ground and do a plank anywhere from as high up as the wall. I'm going to use this wall here. You can plank here, holding that. Elbows were a little bit bent there. Or you can come down to a chair or to a bench or something like that. Let's try this on the ground. You can be on your knees. However, I want you to be very certain that your hips are tucked under. Let me show you the difference. If I'm planking on my knees, this is a plank on my knees. Glutes are squeezed. This is not a plank on my knees. That's a little bit closer to the cat-cow that we did. This is a plank on my knees. If you come up to the balls of your feet, you are here. Here. So on my feet, on my toes, here is on my knees. One more angle. My little head's cut off, isn't it? Here, here. Okay, those are different variations of plank. Another variation is on the forearms. Forearms with my plank. Come over here, bands is here. Here is my low plank versus my high plank. I am a fan of short, good planks. Let's plank for 10 seconds. Let's plank on our forearms. We saw a few variations of the high plank. Let's plank on our forearms for 10 seconds. Tucking, squeezing. Ready? Come here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If that was too long, 5 seconds works. If that was too short, 15 seconds works. Planks can be any sort of time frame. If you had to protect yourself from an attacker, this is a very strong position. This position here. When you're down in your high plank, even when you're in your low plank, when you're down in your high plank, visualize that. That is part of our warrior workout, is visualizing, especially since it's so difficult planking against gravity. Visualizing that you're holding someone off of you, that you are keeping yourself safe. You're pushing them away from you. You're keeping them at distance. Visualize that. Press into the ground. Press, release. So adding some visualizations in to your workout can really help start putting these pieces of defending yourself, being a badass warrior, and still getting your workout at the same time. To me, it totally intensifies things. Here's the next thing we're gonna do. You don't have to keep coming up and down off the ground if you don't want to. However, I do like to add that in as a little bit more work. Now we're gonna do a tactical push-up. So push-ups also, they're very hard. We can come to the wall to start learning how to do push-ups. It's a great way to learn how to do push-ups is to come to the wall. As you're holding yourself against this wall, I would say to come up on the balls of your feet. Imagine that attacker, someone may be coming at you. Maybe they get in close, you push yourself away to safety. Maybe they pull you in close for a second, push yourself away to safety. Add these visualizations in. You are a badass, strong warrior. Add this in. You can then go from the wall and bring your push-up down lower. I have my benches back here, so this could be a potential height where I move my push-up down to. I tend to prescribe to a lot of clients to do countertop push-ups. That's a nice level where it's about chest level. So that's a great progression from the wall to the countertop. Then if you want to get a little bit lower, maybe it's a chair or an ottoman or something like that. So you can come into your push-up from here, visualize, maybe he pulled you in closer and now you're pushing yourself away. Pulled you in closer, pushing yourself away. This is also a perfect time, keep doing these, to check in and see how is your plank form. I'm gonna come down to the ground now. Stay wherever you are. Take a break as you need it for this push-up. If I come down to the ground, I'm visualizing the same thing, but now it's much more challenging because I'm fully against gravity. But check in on that plank. Watch how the push-up and the plank form look extremely similar, right? Here's my plank, and then here is my push-up. He pulled me in close, now I'm pushing myself away. Pulled me in close, push away. Strong warrior status. Push away. As you're doing your push-ups, if you can time the breath with it, what that looks like, we're just gonna come, and let me come at this angle. Let's switch it up. Try to keep my head in here this time. Adding breath in with these push-ups would be to inhale, coming down, exhale, push the ground away. Or push the bad guy away. When we're doing push-ups, we're using so many muscle groups. So incorporate these even at a wall level, countertop level, chair, and then you can work your way down. Those are our tactical push-ups. Next thing, we're gonna come back into that plank form again. And if this gets to be too much on your wrists, you can come back up, maybe do a few, if you're trying to get this workout in say 15, 20 minutes, get a few of those tactical squats in. Imagine you are aware of your surroundings. You're looking, you're keeping yourself safe, you're staying athletic. You can seriously put in 3, 4, 5. The number doesn't matter. Just move, just get this brief workout in. The next thing we're gonna do are mountain climbers, but they're not your typical mountain climbers. We're visualizing. If we had to keep ourselves safe, we are throwing a knee. So your mountain climber, it's pretty much your plank position yet again. We're here, high up. You can push into the ground a little bit. For these ones, again, there's always different ways to do things. But I like to round, like give a little bit of an exhale, and you can kind of feel your core turn on even more. So come down to here, push that ground away, do a little bit of an exhale, a little bit of a round, and then bring that knee up, kick, 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 kick. We have strong legs. The speed at which you go doesn't matter. You can go fast or you can go slow. You can do a few and then take a break. All of it is good. All of it works. You guys are strong. Keep going. It all works. Push, kick, 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 knee, 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 knee. I meant to say knee, not kick. They both start with a K, right? Okay, now we're gonna do some tactical crunches. That's hilarious. Really, I know the difference between a kick and a knee. Tactical crunches. I'm gonna come sideways to you guys. With these crunches, if, heaven forbid, you were to end up on the ground with an attack or any sort of self-defense situation, you will never give up. You will keep fighting. We never, ever, ever give up. There are so many stories of women that saved themselves when they ended up in some of the worst positions possible. You will not stop, and you will be successful because you are a badass warrior. When we're down here for these tactical crunches, same thing. Hands are up. Imagine with your core, you now have to push away and keep yourself safe. Throw in different angles here. Come off to the left, come off to the right, push, left, right, center, left, right. But really envision, when you add in this envisioning piece and you're adding in having to push off someone else's body weight, you naturally will engage more and you will get even more of a feeling out of this. Center, push, push, push. Shh, 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 shh. Push, push. I don't know about you guys, but it didn't take much for my core to start getting lit up. So hopefully you guys feel that too. So that's a tactical crunch. Tony Blauer talks a lot about these movements too. He's been doing self-defense for over 50 years. He's an incredible mentor, and I'm in a lot of his programs. He talks about these, he calls them spear push-ups. Spear system is what he bases a lot of his stuff on. And I love to incorporate lots of different modalities of self-defense. And how much functional strength training, this is all functional strength training that I've showed you today, how much that plays into everyday life and then self-defense, it's absolutely incredible. Okay, getting up from the ground. So say you were able to, you ended up on the ground, you were able to get some space and some time. Now you need to get up quickly from the ground. I'm gonna take these off because they might be slippery. You need to get up quickly and efficiently from the ground. I'm gonna come sideways. So a tactical get up, Krav Maga, that I borrow a lot from as well. I've studied that discipline for 14 years, has this similar way to get up from the ground. So say you end up on the ground, you have some time, maybe you've kicked your attacker away, maybe you've slammed them in the face and now you have some time to get up, but you need to get up effectively and efficiently. Imagine if you maybe only have a few seconds and you might, we might naturally do this to get up. That's cumbersome and you might be putting your back to your attacker. We don't want that. We want to stay, for this demonstration, I'm gonna act like my attacker is here. Maybe I have used my strong legs and kicked him because they're strong from the tactical squats, right? And from the other things that you do. I've kicked him and now I've made some space to get up. Keep a hand up, come up onto your elbow, keeping that hand up, keeping eyes on this person that decided to harm you and has left you with no choice but to defend yourself. Elbow, hand, push your hips up, send that leg through, stand up. Here's our tactical squat. Does this look familiar? We opened up our hips very first thing on, so some flexibility might be a little bit challenging. This is why you're practicing this. So if, heaven forbid, you ever had to use it, it would not be the first time you're doing this. And the hope is that you never have to use it and you're just doing this for exercise and getting up off the ground in an efficient manner. Now, my attacker's here. Maybe I've kicked him away and now I have a moment. I'm keeping a hand up in front of my face so I stay safe. Elbow, you're also coming onto your side hip, looking, hand, Hips up, leg back, back up. Here's my tactical squat. That's my more awkward side. We always have one side, so if you saw differences between the two sides, that's normal and that's life. I'm gonna do this a little bit faster. Watch each side. Other side. There it is, okay? So those are tactical get-ups. Next thing we're gonna do is a step back or reverse lunge. Hands can be, actually, let's keep our hands. Let's keep practicing with our hands up here. Step back, come down as far or not far as you need. Do what serves you. Step back, step back. I'm gonna switch my angle. It is all correct. However far you step back and however deep you step back, it is all right. It is all correct. Do what serves your body today and what feels comfortable to you. There is not one right or wrong way to do a reverse lunge. I would encourage you to keep your toes on the ground and to keep that big toe in connection with the ground. Keep that foot on the ground. And also, I would encourage you to watch where your knees are angling. I would like them to angle straight in line with your foot. Unless you're purposely doing something, then that can be altered. Let's add to this. This might take a little bit of balance. Let's add a front kick to this. If I step back, continue that to a front kick, feel how the leg that is staying down, feel how that glute and the leg is supporting you. Feel how that core, that takes a fair amount of core to balance on a leg and bring a front kick up. I just lost my balance. However far you kick, it is all right. It is all correct. Step back, here's the other side, front kick, tap down when you need to, like I just needed to. Step back, front kick. Now imagine, put a little scenario to this. To me, it makes it more interesting to have to put a self-defense type scenario when that's the mode I'm in. Do I do that every single time I work out? No, I don't. But I do like to put that scenario in sometimes. So maybe something's happened and I've had to take a step back and that's not going to look like a perfect reverse lunge like I do when I'm working out in the gym, but maybe I've had to take a step back, arms are up, and now I decide, okay, this may or may not be the appropriate thing to do for the situation. But I've decided, okay, I can maybe do a kick from here. So just imagine that sort of scenario. Is there one thing that I would do if I were attacked? There is not. It all depends on the situation. So I do not have one thing pre-planned, keep going, in my mind. It all would depend on the situation. But you can build a scenario. You can think about how you keep yourself safe. This will spread to your daughters, your nieces, your nephews, your kids, your friends, everyone. This is contagious. Let's create a domino effect of safety among people. Good humans should be safer, period. Good humans deserve to be safer. So that's the reverse lunge to kick. Two more things. Punches. This can be a great shoulder workout. Whatever your stance is, just reach your arms out. My hands are not in tight fists all the time. This helps give me a little bit more speedy, motion for me. This rotation here is very important. It also gives you a lot of core. It gets a lot of core out there. You can have tight fists or you can have loose hands. Loose hands tends to be a little bit faster, Tight fist tends to be a little bit slower. Neither is right or wrong. Play with both of them. You can also stagger your stance. That's totally fine too. Remember from the staggered squat, so you know that stance now? You can stagger the other way. You can stagger one way and then the other way. It is all correct. If you have a long band, this is really cool. It's really easy to put just a little more tension on your punches with a long band. These are also very inexpensive. So a couple of things that I would say to get that are really inexpensive are some mini bands and a long band. And these come in different strengths and resistances as well. So those punches, you're punching, we're rotating. Your shoulders, you can do this for 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and these are just straight punches. There's all kinds of other angles as well. Here's your punches, here's some shoulders. This is also a pushing motion, just like the push-ups, which gets triceps. We're getting core, we're getting some pecs, especially if you add the band in. So there's some punching and some pushing and some shoulders. The last thing we're gonna do to get some pressing with our back, we're gonna go against the wall and we're gonna do something called a scapular press. Scapula meaning the shoulder blade. I'm gonna show you what this looks like close up against the wall. So imagine my wall is right here. I'm having my good posture with my pelvis tucked underneath and I'm pressing my elbows into the wall, and you should feel that this muscle engages. This big lat right here engages when I press against the wall for these wall scapular presses. I'll show you what this looks like over here against the wall. This is our last thing, wall scapular presses. I know the angle isn't the best. My feet are a little bit away from the wall. Press and feel, see if you can feel those lats engage as you're pressing into the wall. And you can hold it for 3, 4, 5 seconds. However long you want to hold it for, you can hold it for 1 second. So I will add an exhale with this. Press into the wall, scapular press, exhale, release. So here's what I'm doing against the wall. Exhale, release. This muscle's engaging. Exhale, release. One more angle. Exhale, release. This muscle, for me, you guys, it took a long time for me to learn how to feel this muscle in physical therapy. So if you don't feel it right away, please just think about it, keep trying it, and you will get that in time. And you may need to see a physical therapist, but these can be tricky ones to feel, these lats, but they are a big, strong muscle, and you guys are strong. Close your eyes. Give me an exhale. I want you to think of a time in your life when you were so proud of yourself, when you conquered something that maybe took a lot of work, maybe it was something that you weren't sure that you could make it through. Think of something that you conquered and how you felt. Find that moment. Breathe into that moment. Breathe in that power and that confidence and feel what that felt like in that moment when you were like, yes, I did it. I accomplished that. Remember how you felt. Breathe into that. Relive that moment. Exhale out any negativity or doubt. Breathe in that confidence and that power. Exhale any negativity or doubt. Open your eyes. One moment for me was when I took my Krav Maga yellow belt test. I was a horrible runner. I still am not a very strong runner. we had to run a mile, and I was like, oh my gosh, run a mile. And one of the students in the class, he was a brown belt at the time, he's like, I'll run with you. Let's pace off of each other. I didn't even really know what that meant, but I was just like, okay, like whatever to help. And oh, it like hurt. I was like, how am I gonna make it through this mile? And I made it through, but it was very challenging for me. And after making it through that mile, I felt so proud of myself, and then we had to do all the fighting stuff after that. The mile was like the first thing. So that's one of my stories. I know you guys all have a story, and it could be with having a difficult conversation with someone, with something with your children that you had to deal with that was difficult. It can look like a myriad of things, with something at work that's challenging, dealing with other people, or something physical. You have made it through 100% of your hardships, of your tough days. And I know that there is a badass warrior inside of you. I believe that. I need you to believe it. I need you to really, really tap into that every day, especially on the days when you don't want to. Thank you for watching this. Please share this with someone. Please use this workout over and over again. Even if you use parts of it, write it down. Follow along. You can do 5 minutes of it. You can do 1 minute of it. You can pick one thing and do one thing first thing in the morning, and then one thing after you have your cup of coffee, and then the one thing as you're taking a break from work, as you're stepping away from your computer. All of these mini movements throughout the day, it all counts. It all adds up, and you are honoring your body. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.